Hey guys, Tater here, and today we're going to take a look at the tools with the marker blocks and teach you how to use a few of them. First, I'm pretty much going to go down the list. We'll get as far as I can in one video. First, what you want to do is you want to mark out kind of a square shape, because the markers for the first tool, which is fill, or for most of them actually, it's going to draw a square between your markers. So no matter if I do this, it's still going to draw a square. So if I use these white blocks to kind of mark out where it'll fill, if it's this, because this is the farthest marker block that way, it's going to draw a line right there. This one's the farthest this way, it's going to draw a line right here. Same for this one and this one. So our square is going to connect those dots. Our square that it will fill or measure or whatever we're doing, it'll actually draw to here. Okay, so if I go to tools and I measure, it's measuring that space. What it does is it tells you, okay, it's 17 wide, 1 tall, and 23 long. For the next one is fill, and it has all these different features. This tells you, okay, you're filling. This tells you if there's any errors. The errors will be most likely for other tools. This one doesn't really get errors. It'll tell you the region, the coordinates, and then it'll measure it for you, which you can just do with a measure if that's what you're looking for. Now exclude, it's like saying I want the whole area to be filled except for something, whatever it is that you put, but I haven't really used that. The percentage is how much of that area it will fill. 100%, it'll fill the whole thing up with whatever block. If you do 50, it'll do about 50% of the blocks, give or take a few, just depending on the percentage you get. The seed, I am not sure what that does, but it's not really necessary. And the fill block is obviously what you want to fill with. So we're going to fill with flint. When you put go, see, it filled that square that I marked out with the markers. Now clear, it's the same thing, except for instead of filling, it would be clearing. It would delete all the blocks in the area. If I mark out this whole square, it's going to get rid of that, but because I have it on the outside here, it's also going to get rid of this line right here, and it's going to get rid of this line right here because it draws a square. If I had blocks around it and I just wanted to get rid of the flint, what I would do is I would put blocks here and a block here. And if the flint was about this tall, what I would do is I'd make it sure that it goes that high too. So when I go to clear, it deletes it as soon as it loads. You can also do that clearing with the fill tool. All you have to do is, if you have an area that you want to clear, you highlight it, you go to fill, and you're going to pick one of the empty squares up here, because all of these squares just mean air or none. So when you do that, it fills it with air. Okay, the next tool is going to be the replace. So let's say we've got a whole line of grass here, and maybe I want half of it to be one, half of it to be the other. This tool is mainly for like huge builds, because right now I could just easily break 4 blocks, put 4 blocks. But say that this was a big castle and I didn't like the color of it. Say I wanted the whole castle, instead of being green, I wanted it to be blue. I would go to replace, and I could do the percentage to give it a random color, which is useful for terraforming. What you do is you choose the block that you don't want, or the block that's already there, and then you choose the new one. So let's say I take it and change it to blue. Now it's blue. Let's say I only want half of it. I take the opal and I'll change it to a different color. The next tool is going to be replace texture. It's the same thing except for the colors for the stairs and the half blocks and such. The ones that when you push Y and then push A, how you could change the color of. So let's say I've got these colors. I've got the stairs that are shaded, but I don't like that, so I'm going to change them. I go to replace texture. Again, all the settings are the same, but you see how it says I have an error. It says I don't have a block for the target. So I'm going to put it as stairs because I want to change the stair texture. Then you choose the texture you already have, and you choose the one you want. and it replaces it. Again, that's mainly for bigger builds or big areas. Same thing with the half block. The next tool is the line tool. This one is extremely useful. It pretty much takes a line and it connects the dot between whichever marker you placed first to the one you placed second. And then it draws a line from the second to the third, and so on. It just connects the dots. So let's say I did that, and I go to Tools and I do Line. Now you choose the block you want. Let's say I want it to be birch. And I choose the width and the height. I'm just going to keep it 1 and 1, and it draws a line. You can pretty much make any shape you want with that. The next tool is the wall and path. It's almost the same thing as that one, except for instead of drawing a line on top of the ground, it'll draw it in the ground. So like if I wanted to make a path, let's say that's my shape of my path, wall and path, let's say it's going to be a dirt path, and it's going to be 3 wide. If I leave it as a height of 1, the ground level counts as a 1. The line tool, it's different because if I had a hill, the line would actually go up and over it. It would go like this. But if I use the wall and path tool, what it would do is it would replace the ground, it would replace that, and it would replace that and keep going. And now to make it, that's the path part of it. The wall part of it, it's the same thing except for you take the height and you raise it up. So let's say I want a wall of birch wood. It makes a wall. It's really easy. It saves a lot of time for building a castle, and you can make round ones with ease. The next one is the tree tool. It pretty much says, okay, you highlight a certain area. Let's say that's my area, and I want to put trees there. What you do is you go through here and you click on which one you want. Let's say I want to bone meal the area to put flowers, and maybe I want pine trees. And when I put go, it puts bone meal in the area, but it didn't put any trees because it's a random value. So if we go here, see how it says tree count 1? That means it put 1, and the seed makes it random. But let's say I want five trees. It'll randomly put 5 of whatever I have marked. See? Put some big trees and put bone meal in a smaller tree. It'll randomly pick from the system components. The next tool is the copy. That's going to be for if you wanted, let's say that you have a house here that's, this white block is your house, but you want 2 of them to make a city or something. What you do is you highlight it, go to copy, then you have a hologram of it. And to put it down, you just push left trigger, and you can pretty much put it wherever you want it. So let's say I wanted to make a city, there I go. Then I can use that path tool to draw roads through it. And then you can just throw your clipboard away because you don't need it afterwards, or you can save it, which I'll show in the next video. The last tool is the flood tool. This one is dangerous but useful. What it does is it pretty much fills irregular shapes. So let's say I've got this shape, and for the sake of it not taking too long, I'm not going to make it round or whatever, but you know, if you had like a shape, like an ocean, where it'd be kind of round instead of square like this, and you don't want to go through filling, oh, I have to fill in this, I have to fill in this, etc. All you have to do is go to Tools, Flood, and you choose your block, and it'll flood it. Now the reason why I said it was dangerous is because if you put it on the surface with nothing closing it in, and you flood, it's going to flood up until, I think, a radius of 128, and it's going to draw the bottom of a sphere. So you see, it could be very dangerous to your world if you're not careful. And then, of course, there's a tool to abort it if you accidentally did it. That highlights and becomes available when you're flooding. But this has already been loaded in, so I can't really cancel it anymore.